me I'm flying, sipping low key. I'm sipping low key and honest, find a rider.
And welcome back to episode 7. I hope everyone's doing well. Today we've got Den. Den, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. You sweet?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. I'm feeling it from the pub earlier, I'm not gonna lie, but we rock and roll.
Yeah.
Lee, how you doing, mate? You all right?
I am heartbroken after last night, but other than that, I am sweet, thank you.
Yeah, save that, mate. We'll touch on that later. Scotty boy, loving the shirt. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, very well, mate. Very well. Buzzing for the game on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a big one, man. Don't speak too soon. We'll touch on that in a minute. But other than that, right, guys, so basically what we're doing today is we're going to touch on the success stories of the season and also the flops of the season. So I've made the guys here choose their top 2 success stories and their bottom one. Obviously, they're only one flop of the season. So obviously there's going to be different opinions, different excuses coming out of Den's mouth, and we'll probably go with that. So let's crack
Probably
on. Den, yeah, most likely, let's be honest. But then we'll start with you, mate. So who is your first pick?
My first one, mate, we're going to go for John McGinn. Aston Villa, they've not really had a great season, to be honest. I think Grealish's injury has obviously had a bit of a knock to them. I just think he's different class. I think in terms of Grealish, if he was to leave Villa, I think McGinn's the next step. When you look at the stats, like he does well for Scotland as well. To be fair, like I think if you'd ask a lot of players that if you're going to take a Scottish midfielder, he's a bit aggressive as well. You know, he does the bits and he's got that bit about him, that bit of fire in him. I think in a team like Aston Villa, it's a bit hard to sort of get yourself involved. They've got obviously the 2 good centre backs, but I think in terms of centre halves, he looks after them. I think they'd be in a bit worse position than what they are. You know, like he's not the sort of midfielder you expect to score goals either, but he has that ability about him to just look after the midfield. And when you look at him in terms of results they've got this season, he's got a massive impact. He got them through to the Premier League, obviously. He's the guy that scored the goal to get them through. And I think he just keeps delivering. No one knew about him years ago before he joined Villa. You know, he was like a sort of lower level. No one really had a clue. But now I think a lot of teams would take him. I think he is a great player. I don't mean to sound like everyone, but on paper, you would take it right now because he's got a bit of fire in him as well. That's what I like. Like most teams need a bit of fire, and he's got that in him. He has a bit of like he's a captain material, which I always think you need in a centre midfielder. But yeah, it's a tricky one because he's Scottish, obviously. So it's like I don't want to big his head up too much, but he's a great little forward. Like he gets the results. When you look at it statistically, he hasn't really got that much going. But then as a Villa player, you wouldn't. I just think he's them sort of players that you don't really expect to deliver, but he's done it every time. He sort of just is the one player you'd look at and think, yeah, he's done a good job. I don't think he does too many feet wrong.
No, I think I don't know about the boys there, but it's hard to shine in that Villa team when you like your Grealish and obviously with some of the players they've got around them. Boys, would you take him?
They're not doing bad.
I agree and disagree with some of them comments. I think I do rate McGinn. I think he's a very good player. I think you've been a bit harsh on Villa in terms of slating him a little bit.
Is that because they beat you 7-2?
No, not at all. Not at all. We did beat them last week, so just to mention that. But they're up there this year. They're challenging for the European spaces. I think they've got a game in hand. They're looking at top 8, and then it's not exactly a bad team to play in if you're in the top half of the table. McGinn, yeah, like you said, he's got that Scottish attitude. He's a bit of a breakheart. I think he has previously scored more goals. I think he's only got about one or two this year. Could probably add a bit more, but obviously he does get outshined by Grealish. But yeah, he's a baller. Yeah, I should have been a bit harsh on Villa there.
No, it's hard to shine in that team. Scotty, you're crying out for a midfielder like that, aren't you?
Nah, mate, we got Super Tom Cleverley. We don't need John McGinn, mate.
Sideways pass merchant.
Yeah.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I'm dying to hear your first pick, Scotty. So tell me who it is.
Who, mine? Sorry.
Yes, mate.
I've gone for Thomas Souček.
Okay, fair play, fair play. Yeah, I think he'd be in a lot of people's teams. Tell me why you like him.
I just think he's brilliant, mate. He's just come out of nowhere. It's one of David Moyes' super signings, like the new Marouane Fellaini. I just think he's brilliant. Obviously, he's got
about as big as him, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got a partnership.
He's massive, isn't he?
What's that?
He's huge.
He's massive.
Yeah, he's a big old boy. But he's obviously got a partnership now with Declan Rice.
Yeah.
And I think obviously Jesse Lingard as well has been unbelievable for West Ham. But I think Souček and Rice holding that midfield has allowed Jesse Lingard to do what he wants to do.
Yeah,
I think they paid about 15 million for him as well. He's an absolute steal. Yeah. I think.
Do you know anyone know where he came from? Did anyone know where he come from?
Do you know about him? I don't know. It was obviously. I don't know. Was it the boys you were playing tonight? Slavia Prague.
Was it? Could be. I don't want to give them any respect.
I might be wrong because they Souček told them to sign that Kufal as well at right back, and he's been a steal at 5 million.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've got him in my FP. I've got him in my league. To be fair, bargain.
Yeah. But no, I think Souček's got about 9 goals. I think this season.
He's probably the signing of the season, isn't he?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, Slavia Prague. Scott, you're right. Great shout.
Yeah, boy.
He's done his research. Love that. I think it'd be interesting to see as well. Like, obviously, come in a couple of weeks' time, months' time. Like, this might be for the first time we'll be able to actually see different players in the team of the year.
Yeah. So, would you say Souček is underrated, or just the fact he's been a standout this season?
I don't think he's underrated. I think everyone knows how good he is. I think everyone knows that he's a big part of West Ham's success.
I think
underrated is a big call for me personally.
No, I get that.
I think he's underrated. I think he's underrated compared to your Declan Rice. If you think of West Ham, you don't think of Souček. You don't think of Souček. You think of Declan Rice or Jesse Lingard. You don't in that midfield. You don't.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So. In that sense, he is underrated.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Especially when they who was it they played last time around? Was it Leicester or something? They were without Declan Rice, weren't they?
Yeah. Big Mark Noble came in, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, Mark Noble's better than he.
Still getting the performances. Mark Noble, 300 appearances this week.
Still he's never had anything to call up. It's all subject to West Ham, isn't it?
Then it was 400, not 300.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, 400.
400.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. In a team like West Ham, I think that's unreal.
No, obviously, but at the end of the day, though, I think this is the first time that people have probably stood up for a long time for West Ham and actually looked at them and think of like actually top 4, top 6 contenders. Let's be honest. I hope to God they fucking drop off, but that's just me personally.
Yeah, me too, mate. Me too.
Nah, I'd like to see it.
Would ya?
Yeah.
I prefer it when they're battling relegation, personally.
Mate, I want Leicester and West Ham in there. I don't want Chelsea, Spurs, none of them boys in it. I want West Ham, Leicester in.
Fucking Spurs, mate. Let's be honest. But nah, that's a great shout though. I think that'll be in a lot of people's picks if we throw it out there to people. But Lee, then give me one of yours.
So my first pick for underrated player this season would go to. He was actually in the headlines last weekend for his 2 match-winning goals. Be Stuart Dallas, Leeds United.
Yeah,
I think he's. I don't think he was too highly rated when he first signed, but he's developed massively as Leeds have gone up. Bielsa's just like transformed him into this like utility man. He plays left back, he plays right back, centre mid on the wing. He plays pretty much every game, and he puts an immense shift in, pops up with the odd goal. I think he's got 7 goals this season, which ain't too bad considering how many different positions he's playing. And the engine on him as well is phenomenal. And he popped up and pretty much won the game for Leeds on the weekend. It just shows his importance to the team. And yeah, not many people talk about him. I think he's defined underrated for this season.
Yeah, I think he's getting a lot of people's teams, isn't he?
I think as well, there's a lot of underrated players in Leeds because you think of Luke Ayling as well. He's had an unbelievable season.
Yeah.
Their
Harrison,
goalkeeper, Jack Harrison. Their goalkeeper, I don't think their goalkeeper will be at Leeds much longer.
I don't rate him.
Do you not?
No, I don't. I think he's been a bit of a liability at times. Errors in his game.
Mate, he was fantastic against City.
Yeah, but to be fair, Lee, Alisson's been a bit of a liability this season. And he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. So,
I knew that was
I can't argue with that.
Fucking hell. Take those tinted glasses off, Lee.
To be fair, it's a good shout with Jack Harrison. I mean, I know last week we some of us watched the game together with Leeds and Sheffield United. He missed about 10 sitters, I think. But, I mean, in terms of Leeds, it's another thing with Leeds. Maybe I was a bit harsh on West Ham earlier. With Leeds, if you play well, like, you're going to stand out. I think at the start of the season, with obviously, I think with the manager, it came like a lot, like top half. They should be getting there realistically. When you look at the squad they got, they've spent a bit of money as well. They've got Rafinha. I know they've got Rodrigo that they spent a bit on. That has been a bit of a letdown, but they've spent money where players haven't delivered. Rodrigo hasn't delivered, but players like Harrison has done well. Like,
then to argue that they've just come up.
Bamford,
Scotty is a Watford fan as well. Will argue that. Like, it's not you just don't know what you're going to get of a team coming up.
Yeah, no, but Leeds should have been up years ago. Let's be honest, Leeds should have been up years ago. When you look at their team,
With that, then obviously you said that they should be fighting for Europe or whatever. You got to remember.
I wouldn't say Europe. I'd say they just. I'm not surprised at them finishing in the top half of the table if they do. Obviously, we still don't know if they're going to, but. It got made to look like a big ambition, and it's like, no, realistically, you should be getting in that top half of the table. They've spent a bit of money, and I don't think they're really a surprise to be promoted. I think, they're that team.
Half of that team, then that's still there under Bielsa are Championship players. He's turned them Championship players into Premier League players.
Yeah, true.
So I don't necessarily agree with that, but.
That's why Dallas was my pick. He's the perfect example.
Yeah.
They've spent money that, like, I just think that they do get a lot of money. Like they've spent 40 million on 2 players and God knows what else. Like, I wouldn't like to think mathematically what they've actually spent overall. I'm not surprised they're in the top half.
Well, they've got a cock at the back, and
I think they're just chalk.
The season.
I think they are chalk and cheese. Like, I think you look at them in every game, they're just. Like, you don't know what to expect. They're either gonna lose 3-2 or they're gonna go and win 2-0 or 2-1.
Like, the game was. Love them. That's why you love them.
No, I'd be gutted to see a team like that go down. Obviously, I don't think they're not this season, obviously, but I think they're just a good entertainment to the league. And there's a lot of teams.
Boys, realistically, I'll get you quickly. They'll have enough to survive this year. Next year, they'll be fine.
I can't see them doing a Sheffield United. Like, Sheffield United came up, didn't they? Smashed it last year. And
I don't know about next year.
What do you mean, Dan?
Sam, where you say, because you don't know who's going to come up. Like, Watford are coming up. You don't know what money they're going to get and spend. Scott, I don't mean to obviously be up your ass, but I don't really know. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Norwich, you don't know what's going to happen with them next year. They've had a flyer. Like, they've had an absolute blinder this year, Norwich. And even Watford, they're 9 points clear of the Championship. So you don't really know what's going to happen. But next season is going to be all to play for because all the deadwood's gone out. Who would you say after them would go? Burnley? They know how to park the bus.
Brighton.
It's going to be...
Brighton, I'd love to see
Brighton,
that,
they've got a good squad. Like, they've got some of our old best players in. Lallana, they've got Welbeck, players like that. Like, even Malpay.
Southampton, mate.
Yeah.
They're still
great shout.
They're rocky, aren't they?
Yeah,
they bang out of form. Bang. They started the season
hot and cold.
They were in the top. They were top of the league at one point. They dropped massively, but Newcastle. If they keep Steve Bruce, they're not going higher, are they?
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. But boys, we'll be here all day otherwise. So let's move on.
Anyway,
then we'll go to. Well, no, I'm not. Actually. It's not about me. It's about you. So remember that. Okay. Go. Can you give me your second pick, please, mate?
Yeah. It's touching on West Ham again from what Scott was, it's going to be Michael Antonio. I think, to be honest, this isn't a really unrealistic shout. I think he's just really underrated in terms of West Ham. Like, he's obviously injured now. Beforehand, I think up top, who would they like? They've got Jared Bowen playing up top for him now, and I think that shows how much they need him. They haven't really got that centre forward. He's strong. We've seen it against us. We've seen it against most teams. Like, he can hold it about him. I think he's just got a bit. He's built like a brick. We all know that, but it's not just that. He can score goals. I know Scotty touched on Lingard earlier, and I think he has had a massive like impact on Lingard's like addition to West Ham. I think it's a bit of a sore wound for a West Ham fan because they did start to build and really work well together. But I think he really is just different kettle in terms of the fact he's 30 as well. I still can't believe the fact that he's not played internationally and he's only just declaring it. I just find that absolutely unbelievable. 30-year-old and you're just only just declaring it. I know we spoke about it before, but the way I see it up front, he's got everything he needs. He's got a bit of pace. I'm not saying he's the fastest player in the world. I just think he's got a bit of pace about him for someone that's built and that's, you know, a little bit older. I think he's got what you need, sort of thing. I'm not talking like top 10 Premier League sort of thing, but he does have a lot about him that you want when you've got everything else. And if you've got that good sort of number 10, that can behind, he will finish. And he's shown it so many times. And this season, he's been unbelievable. I think he's just always involved. I've not seen him not really involved for them and where you could say, oh, he's had a bad performance. I get the fact that maybe because you're strong, you can always do it. But he just doesn't ever disappoint. Like, he never really has a howler. I've always liked him, to be honest, even when he has a cracker against us. I kind of envy the fact that he's that built, you know, because many teams haven't got that about them, like small and big. You know, you don't get that often. He's small, but he's got arms about him. I just think this season he's had a massive impact, and the fact that now he's injured is going to prove in the next couple of games how much they miss him.
No, of course. I think I've got a couple of West Ham fans around like my work and everything like that, and they all rave about him. I don't know if you boys would know this. I don't think he was originally a striker. Is that true?
No, he
Does anyone know about that?
He wasn't.
He was a winger.
Was it what, winger? Yeah.
Yeah.
But West Ham have tried to sign strikers to put him in his natural position, didn't they? Like Sebastian Haller, perfect example, turned out to be terrible. And they just stick with Antonio up top because he's mustard, basically. I completely agree with the comments Den said. Well, he's a beast. He would be my ideal nightmare to play against, speaking as a Sunday League centre-back. If I come against him, I would shit myself. He's a handful. He's got a bit of everything. It's just a shame injury. I think injuries let him down massively. Yeah. But if you think of like England squad or something, because he could have, I think he declared for someone else now, but like, imagine him being a wild
Jamaica,
throw off the bench.
Yeah, Jamaica now.
If you threw him off the bench, it would have been. Right,
there's another player like that never got in the England squad.
Who's that, mate?
Troy Deeney.
You're sitting.
I thought he was going to say Michael King.
He's sitting in the pod with two Arsenal fans, man. So you got to be careful. Nah, obviously, there's no. He's underrated. Like, to be fair, it's hard to say like anything bad about.
If you're going to put Troy Deeney and you're underrated, I'll tell you what, I'll log right off this.
He hasn't. He won't. He wouldn't dare.
No, but they're
that's what I like.
Going back to West Ham. There's rumours that they're going in Tammy Abraham, isn't there?
That'd be
great. Yeah, I think that'd be a great signing.
I can understand because in terms of Tammy Abraham, he needs it. With Werner coming in, obviously, I know Werner's not had the best of seasons in the world, and we're going to touch on certain things shortly, which he can come into. But I think Abraham just needs to get rid now because he's at an age where you either come into your prime or you're sort of a bit deadwood, and you know, like I reckon he's about 20.
I saw a stat about Abraham the other day. It was like list of goals for players under 23. He's like pretty much top of the pile, which is like it's quite a surprise. So you don't really, because you don't think of him as a good player that much. He's just backup really.
Every year on
he scores goals. He scores goals.
I don't think he gets enough game time. I think that's the problem. I think when you're in a team like Chelsea, it's make or break. Like, he was out on loan for a serious amount of time when he was at Swansea and God knows what. And I think now they've brought in players like Werner, and they're starting to play players up front like Havertz and bloody Pulisic in the number 9. Where does Abraham actually sit? Like, if them sort of players, if Cams are getting put in your position, I'd be a bit worried. I think it is good for him if he leaves. It's a bit like a Eddie situation at Arsenal. I think you're good, but I think you need to sort of fuck off, because I think you're just going to be better off somewhere else. Yeah, like, I think Tammy would be much preferred elsewhere. West Ham would be perfect because Antonio's old. I mean, we just touched on the fact he's like 30. So they need a striker. The fact they've got Jarrod Bowen playing up there is a bit worrying for me. I think they do need a second. Once they got rid of Sebastian Haller that Scott spoke about, they needed to replace him straight away.
Yeah, let's be real. I remember when West Ham got rid of him, like, their fans were panicking. They were like, we might go down this season. We've got no striker. I remember how much they like shit themselves early in the season. But somehow it worked out magically for a minute. So.
It always does, man. Yeah. What is meant to be will be. Boys, moving on. Scotty, give me a second pick, mate.
I've gone with Konza at Aston Villa. I think he's been. Yeah, I think he's been unbelievable this season. He's getting a bit overshadowed by Tyrone Mings. Obviously, Tyrone Mings got into the England squad. I like Tyrone Mings, but mate, I would have had Konza in there over him. I definitely would have had Konza in there over Eric Dyer, that's for sure.
Don't open a can of worms.
Mate, I think everyone would agree with that, even Spurs fans.
Yeah, that's the thing.
100%.
Yeah.
So, they do. That's the problem.
I think Konza's just been unbelievable at the back for Aston Villa this season, and the partnership with Tyrone Mings would be good for England as well if Tyrone Mings goes. You know, if we get an injury to Johns, if we get an injury to who's not going to go?
Tyrone. I hope he will go, but I don't want Tyrone Mings to go. He's just a shambles. I think we should just take.
He's not a shambles. He'll go.
No, but I just think he's not really. He's different class. He's not exactly like. I think there's players there that I'd rather take that can play in both positions. Tyrone Mings is either centre back or nothing. I think in terms of at least Eric Dyer, he can play into.
That's wrong, by the way. That's wrong. Then he started as a left back.
Would you really play him at left back?
He started as a left back.
But would you?
So he can.
But would you play him there? Would you play him there?
If he done a job, of course I would.
Luke Shaw over your best mate? No way. I wouldn't play Tyrone Mings left back.
No,
he's not even quick enough.
I didn't say over Luke Shaw, but what I'm saying is, you said that he's only got one position, but he hasn't. He can play left back. He's left-footed as well.
No, but at the moment, in this current time, he can play in one position pretty much, because we've not seen him there in the Aston Villa shirt, at least. I think, and if we're basing it on current form, which Southgate has said he is, Tyrone Mings is just not in it for me. I'd rather take 3 centre-backs and keep him out and take more midfielders. And I've always said that. I mean, we're going off topic, but yeah, Konza for me would.
Who would be your England, your 3 centre backs then for England?
For England, Stones and Maguire. That's an obvious one. I think the third one's quite tough.
Tyrone Mings.
He's going to say Tyrone Mings, isn't he?
Konza.
Yeah, I would take Konza. On current form, I would take Konza. I think.
Yeah, current form, it has to be Konza. I don't get how it can't be, because.
I think the only other one who's in the picture is Connor Cody, isn't he? But he's not having the best season either.
If you're going to take Cody, you may as well.
For England.
If you're going to take Cody, you may as well take Keane.
But I think if you look at recent Villa games, Tyrone Mings is just making mistakes, and you don't really see that from Konza. So, you know, I think Mings last season. I would have said last season he was better than Konza. I didn't really know much. I didn't really hear much about Konza then. But this season, I think this season he's been. Yeah, he does. He still don't get shouted about as much, but he's been far the better defender than Mings.
Yeah.
He's still only young as well. He's only 24.
Yeah. Villa got one of the best defensive records in the league this year, so that says it all, really.
Yeah.
Stats don't lie, boys.
Stats don't lie. Stats mean prizes. Right, moving on. League Kingdom. Right, give me your fucking final choice, please, mate.
My final choice, I don't think he's really actually underrated because I think a lot of people rate him as a promising youngster, but it's actually Harvey Barnes, Leicester. Young English winger. I suppose when you think about top wingers in the league, people don't think about Harvey Barnes, but
because he's not that flair player, is he? That's why.
He's not the biggest flair player, I suppose, but he's a hard worker. He's added goals to his game this year. He's 23 years old. I think he's got a very bright future about him, and I don't think it's a surprise that quite a few bigger clubs have been sniffing around him. To be honest, he's got goals and assists. He's a threat. It's just a shame he's got a bit of an injury, cut his season short, and obviously going to parties in COVID don't help. But I rate him very highly, and I would have him at Liverpool any day, definitely.
Yeah,
I think he's a very good player.
He's got that written.
Leicester are missing him at the moment, I think.
No, definitely, I think so. But
I think that's a great shout. To be fair, I think if I wasn't going to have the two I've had, it would have to be Harvey. But the only reason I didn't really choose him is because he's injured now. But had he been on form and fit, he'd be in the England squad by a mile for me. And I know there's a lot of left wingers. Like we've spoke about this on the previous episodes and stuff. Left wingers are quite easy in terms of when you look at most squads, they've got a good left winger. You know, even Watford. I'm not digging Watford out here, Scott, but even they've got Sarr on the left. Liverpool have got Mane on the left. Arsenal have got your world's your oyster, Saka, Martinelli, Aubameyang. Well, not recently, but I just think
none of those wingers are playing better than Harvey Barnes at this moment in time.
No, exactly. That's when he was playing, he was one of the best. It's a big shame for him. And while we're on Leicester, James Justin, he's another one that really should have been. If he'd not got so injured so soon, he'd be probably all of ours because he was just unreal. Playing at Luton, going to that level was just incredible. I think he
plays both full-back positions as well, doesn't he? Right and left back.
Right and left. I think England could have done with that as well. That's the problem. We're short on left backs. We've got bloody Luke Shaw. I know Scott goes on about him like he's different gravy and best bread and butter, but best left back in the week. No, but I think we needed someone that can play them both positions because we've only got Luke Shaw really in terms of left.
I feel like that's why Trippier gets in the team because he's played both.
Got Ben Chilwell.
I like Ben Chilwell.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into it because it's gonna kick people off if you're a Leicester fan or a Chelsea fan. I don't think Ben Chilwell has got that much about him really. I think in a good squad. I think this season you look Lampard was playing.
That's a shout then. To be fair.
That is hashtag unpopular opinion from Dennis Catley.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of them.
Everyone's game of opinions, you're all entitled to it. But
I don't think Ben Chilwell was that great. Lampard played him every game. As soon as Tuchel come in, he weren't playing really that much. So and when I look at him in games for Chelsea, I don't think he really provides that much. A lot more in an England perspective, definitely.
He scored a very good goal last week.
No, but in terms of an England perspective, I don't think he'll sort of bring that sort of. At least Justin would bring something different. I'll say the same about. To be honest, this is another player I'd have probably had for one of the undercards. Is Greenwood, Mason Green. I hate United, but Greenwood brings something different. That's what I like about a player. Whereas Chilwell, what does he bring different realistically? I don't know. I think I've gone way off topic, but I think Justin is just that little bit different.
Yeah, he definitely could have made the underrated players list easily.
Yeah.
Boys,
it's a shame.
Before we touch on, because obviously there was a few names that were thrown in there. Before we touch on the flops, anyone else got any other names that they were potentially going to put in their list? Anyone at the top of their heads?
I had two. My first one was Johnny Evans at Leicester.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's getting on a bit, but he's solid, mate. He's solid at the back. I don't think he gets spoken about. Obviously, he had a great partnership with Harry Maguire when they were at Leicester together, and now he's got that partnership with Soyuncu at the back. So I think he's good. The other one was I've spoken about him before on the podcast, Scott McTominay.
Yeah,
I think
you love him. Fuck me,
mate. I just think he makes Man United tick. I think, like, for such a young lad, I think he's brilliant, mate. So yeah,
he's got that fucking. He ain't afraid of a tackle either. He fucking goes for it. He goes all in or all out, doesn't he? I like that.
Likes to poke people in the eyes, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably let's not touch on that because we'll be here all night otherwise. And boys,
there's a fellow Leicester player I had a chat with. This is Evan's partner. Was Fofana. He's a good young player, underrated. I think don't get spoken about much. He looks at 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I was possibly going to wear my Liverpool badge on and say Wijnaldum. I think he's a baller.
But underrated.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's recognised a lot.
If you think about the Liverpool team and their best players, he doesn't get brought up.
Yeah, true.
You think of Mane, Salah.
I think for Holland, he's amazing as well. For Holland, he's world class. Like every time he plays for Holland, he just has a good. I remember watching him. Yeah, I remember watching him. I went to Wembley and watched England lose 2-1 to Netherlands, and he had a fucking blinder. And I was like, bloody hell, like I wouldn't expect it. But yeah, he just stands out. He's that sort of player, you know. He's small, but he shows like he's got a bit of fire about him, bit of grit.
Yeah, he's good.
No, yeah, he does. Dan, any others that you were potentially going to put in?
Tough one. Maybe Ndidi.
Yeah.
For Leicester. And I think, I know I'm going to probably open a massive can of worms here, but I'd have to say Lacazette. I think he's been underrated this season. I think a lot of fans have been. That's just
allow it.
But I'm an Arsenal fan. I think a lot of fans have just thrown him under the bus.
I'll tell you a player for Arsenal I think's been great this season. Smith Rowe.
Yeah.
He's not underrated. He's not underrated though. Everyone knows what he's brought.
Yeah,
he's not underrated.
I agree that he's been quality, but I think people rate him. That makes sense.
Yeah,
it's hard to put. Hard to sometimes have a bit of a fine line between being underrated and being rated by.
Yeah, that's the tough bit.
Yeah. But then Harvey Barnes is like that.
Yeah,
though, isn't he?
True. Very true.
He's on that line.
Touching on Den's Lacazette. Just touching on Den's Lacazette comment.
Go on, mate.
Yeah, disagree, mate. Disagree. I don't think he's.
Yeah, but you're not flush with strikers quickly, man. Who's your backup?
Why do you have to bring it back to Liverpool all the time? Let's talk about Lacazette.
Nah, because you're wearing a fucking Liverpool shirt, mate, so I'm not having that.
If you're going to throw Lacazette under the bus...
but you didn't let me finish my comment.
Firmino, what about Firmino? What about Firmino?
Good. I don't think he's shit. I think he's very average. He's borderline
average. So fucking Origi.
And I think he's had an average season. I don't think he's done anything special.
He's hardly played.
Scott, right, we'll throw out. Scott, who you having, Lacazette or Origi?
Why do you compare them to?
Lacazette over Origi because Origi's dog shit.
Yeah, Origi is shit.
But then again,
who's won more Champions Leagues?
Yeah, that's
right,
true.
well done.
Who scored in the Champions League final?
Right, okay, cool. I've got this shit.
Yeah, he's done you there, to be fair. He has done you there.
Right, we'll move on before I fucking kick you out of the chat. Lee, we'll start with you actually for this one. Right, Lee, give me a flop of the season, mate.
What's that?
Give me a flop of the season.
Oh yeah, because he didn't join us on Wednesday Chelsea. Timo Werner, a very high profile flop, so he's an easy choice. Really, didn't think too much about it. He is missing sitters for fun. The boy can't finish his dinner.
Awful, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he was when he signed. I thought Chelsea have got a fantastic striker. He looked absolutely mustard for Leipzig in previous seasons. He looked explosive, score goals. He's done fuck all really. Even if he gets played out on the left and the right sometimes, he'll get the ball out on the wing and he'll cross it into the box when there's no players there. What's he thinking? He's got no brain. The boy is not cut out for the Premier League, and I don't rate him. He costs a lot of money, and he's not scoring the goals Chelsea wanted him to. For me, he's a big flop.
I think there's a player there, lads. I don't know about you. You can see his movement and stuff like that. He looks all right. It's just like you said, he just can't fucking score.
He's still young though. He's still young.
How old is he?
He's
25.
23.
So you're paying 50 odd million for a 25-year-old. You expect?
He's not 25, is he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
25 already. When did he join Chelsea then? Because I thought when they signed him, he was like 23 years old.
No.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
pay that money for a 25-year-old. You expect
just turned 25. You're right. Bloody hell.
That's typical Chelsea though, buying strikers for a lot of money and then fucking them up.
Yeah, Torres, Mattia Kezman, Adrian Mutu,
Shevchenko.
Yeah, he's the biggest one.
Do you remember Chevy? Fuck me.
He's a politician now, isn't he?
Fuck hell, man. Well, that's for another topic. So give me your flop of the season, mate.
Who, me?
Yes, mate.
Mine's Donny van der Beek.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, the reason I say that is because we haven't seen anything of him. He was meant to come to the Premier League and light it up, and all he's done is sat on the bench with his snood over his mouth. He's done fuck all.
He'll bang on, mate. He'll bang on. As soon as you mention your name, you just think, who?
Yeah.
I don't know who he is.
Do you know what I mean? They spent £35 million on a new fucking bench warmer.
Yeah.
He ain't even started tonight, you won't believe.
That's what I mean. He's not even starting in the game tonight.
Oh, and they're missing a lot of players, isn't they?
2-0 Arsenal, my boys. 3-0.
I don't know.
No, 3-0. 3-0, boys. 3-0.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what he's done, or he's just not cut out for it. I mean, United have probably seen something in training.
Yeah.
Well, you think a lot of signings these days, they're recruited by the scouts, and the manager probably has to trust the scouts. Managers are too busy watching their own team to look at other players.
Of course.
United is a massive club, as much as I hate to say it. So there's probably a bit of a step up in levels from Ajax to United, and maybe he's just not cut out for it.
Maybe not.
But Real Madrid wanted him.
Yeah. He had a list of teams that wanted him, mate.
Yeah, he
was crying out for a player like that in the Arsenal. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean the Dutch league isn't the best. Let's be honest. But you've got like Frankie De Jong, who's gone to Barcelona, and he's been unbelievable for Barcelona. Yeah, but De Ligt started off when he went to Juventus. He weren't that great to start off with, and I think now he's kind of come into his own. But he's played the games, which Donny van der Beek hasn't. So
yeah,
it's a tough one, and that's why he's the flop of the season. Not because of his performances, just because we ain't seen him.
Yeah, when he does play, he hasn't really done the very rare occasion. He has not done a lot.
Yeah, but he only comes on for 5 minutes. He only comes on for 5 minutes. There's not much you can do in that time.
You do kind of feel sorry for him a little bit.
Like, I do.
He's probably looking around it. He's probably gone there. He's looking around. He's going, "What the fuck have I done?"
He's probably thinking this shit house. Fred.
The problem is as well. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
Like the one thing I'd say about him, I'm not disagreeing that he's a flop. He's a flop massively, but I don't think it's to do with him. It's to do with the fact that he just hasn't played. And when you walk into a team like United, it is hard for you to gel. Do you get what I mean? Like you can't really gel unless you play. You've got Pogba, Fernandes, McTominay, Scott's best mate over there. You've got a lot of people. You've got a lot of people that you have to sort of be around. And Fred, forget about Fred and. He hasn't played. How can he not be a flop? Because he hasn't actually been put in the position where he can. At 35, I think he got bought for about 35 million. I mean, realistically, for his age, it's not a lot of money. Like he's 25, 26. You can still get a few years out of him. But 25, 26. Yeah. But what can he really get out of someone when you don't play him that often? Do you get what I mean? Like he's not really played. He's barely been in the starting lineup. I don't even know how many times he started. I wouldn't like to think. He's got what's been coming.
He's obviously not trusted, is he, by Oli? Like the fact is because they're so flush with midfielders.
I don't think it's that. I don't think they needed a midfielder. They shouldn't have.
Maybe it doesn't fit into their system. Like you said, they've got Pogba, Fernandes, and McTominay there. You know, who do you replace? Because you need McTominay doing the dirty work. You've got Pogba and Fernandes for creativity. So where does Donny fit in? He'd have to replace Pogba, really. But Pogba, you're not going to replace as much as they say, a world-class player like Pogba, even if he doesn't deliver all the time.
And even, like you said, you just hit the nail on the head there. Even with Fred, I mean, I don't know if you saw the game against Spurs. The second half, Fred was incredible.
Yeah.
He actually was, and you don't get many games like that.
Yeah,
everyone laughs at him.
He was all right, yeah. I hate bigging up United.
No, we'll move on with that. But Dan, give us your flop of the season, mate.
I mean, considering we're at the moment 3-0 up, I'm going to actually feel harsh, even slandering anyone. But he's not playing tonight, so I can do it. It's Aubameyang. It's got to be. I think in terms of any Arsenal player, if you're going to pick a flop of the season, it's quite hard not to pick him. I touched on this earlier on the feature that we've got going on the Arsenal with Toby about how we all had Christmas Day early when he signed a new contract. Weren't really Christmas Day, was it? It just turned out to be an absolutely fucking massive flop.
Halloween.
I don't know. Yeah, it was Halloween. In fact, that's even pushing it. I don't know what it is with him. I think the problem is as well, you see so many other players get slandered, like Lacazette's one. That's probably why I called him out. I spoke on him earlier because I feel like he gets a lot of slander considering he actually does a bit more as a striker in terms of what Aubameyang does. If Aubameyang don't score, you wouldn't recognise him on the field. I don't think you really would. Whereas Lacazette can have a good game without putting the ball in the back of the net. I don't know. I think the amount we're paying for him at the moment as well, it's just been a big gamble, and the gamble has not paid off. We relied on him. He's definitely not a captain. I think the fact he's a captain probably makes me feel a little bit worse to him than what I should. Maybe I just think I'm being a bit harsh on him because he's not that captain material, but we gambled on him massively. And obviously the way the world is at the moment, we need the money that we can get. We've put a lot of money into him. He just hasn't paid off. Like, yeah, okay, he's our second top scorer, but he's our best striker. You'd expect him to be up there by a mile. If he hadn't got the hat-trick against Leeds, he probably wouldn't even be up there. He'd be way behind, you know. Like, people slander Pepe and Lacazette to the cows come home. They don't really talk about Aubameyang that much because he'd done something a year before or season before. Oh, he got golden boot with Vardy and Salah, but I just don't think he really cuts it. And I know I'm going to get so much shit for this because some people back him till forever, but I don't see it in him. I did a year ago. I just think he's lost it completely.
He's lost the yard, and he's lost everything. It's a shame.
Yard. I think he's lost more than that. Like we're seeing tonight, we're like 3-0 up, and we don't even need. I just don't think we need him. I think the team has sort of moved on. Do you get what I mean? Like, we've moved on from him before we even should.
He's turned into a prime Jovino and even got the same haircut as him as well.
Oh my god, it's the best hairline I've ever seen.
Den's got the same forehead. I'm waiting for the day Den comes on the pod with his little fucking dreads as well.
But yeah,
Taking them off.
I agree with you on that flop there, Den. I think, like you said, when he signed a contract, it was like you've just announced a big money signing, a brand new signing. But I think it's a risky move based on what it's like a bit of an Ozil situation. You know, he's 31 years old, and it's a big contract. And he hasn't delivered, has he?
Let me jump in quickly, boys. Realistically, though, look at all your players and all your clubs and stuff like that. Really, if you've got that player that you need to tie down, you're gonna have as a fan, you want them your club to do it, didn't you? So at the end of the day, obviously we had a reason to be excited. Yeah, okay, it's completely failed, and it's fucking fluke that whether it comes off or it doesn't come off. But like you've got a reason to be excited with those when your team re-signs a player like that. He was our best player last year, and the last year before that.
But that's why the geezer's got to look at himself, because he ain't delivered, and the club's backed him, the fans have backed him, and he's not delivering. He's not scoring the goals. Is it a question of service? Is he getting enough service? I don't know really, but he's obviously still a bit of a finisher. But he's not scoring the goals, and he doesn't offer much other than goals normally.
Yeah, he's not a worker, is he?
No. Nah. It's like I said on one of our other pods as well about the Aubameyang contract situation. It was a bit like the Ozil with Ramsey. You boys lost Aaron Ramsey because you gave Ozil that contract. You don't want that happening to the likes of Saka, your Smith Rose, all them boys, because he's got this massive contract and he's just sitting back now and thinking, look, I've got all this money and I don't need to perform. Because them boys are actually pulling you out the fucking ground. I know you're not doing
By the way, who touched on Smith Rowe tonight? Because he's had an amazing game so far. Absolutely young.
Yeah,
Scotty.
Yeah. He's been our best player so far. He's been our best player tonight.
Right, so guys, we're gonna touch on the racism incident, and I really hope to God that we all give it justice here, because obviously it's a massive hot topic that's going on in the world right now. So I'm gonna put my 2 pence in, and I hope you guys are obviously on the same page. We spoke about it off on the WhatsApp chat and everything like that. So, and we'll go from there. So what we're talking about is the Slavia Prague. Let's just call him a prick because I can't pronounce his name. Player being banned for 10 games for being involved in the racism incident involving the Rangers midfielder Glenn Kamara. So for me personally, it doesn't matter how long the ban is, as long as these people are not getting educated. It is difficult, I understand that, but we need to remember not everyone lives in a multicultural society like ours, right? For example, and many others where race is part of a characteristic, I feel like they're not gonna. Then the bans are not gonna help. Boys, I don't know about you personally, but I feel like if you don't educate these countries, these players, and stuff like that, then none of the views of these people are gonna ever change. What about yourselves?
I don't know who wants to go first. Yeah, I'll let Lee go.
Yeah, I wasn't sure who was going to go first there. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Miller. I think it goes beyond football in terms of educating people about racism. It's not just the players. You see the abuse they get after games, in whether it's replying to tweets, Instagram, DMs, comments. Look at what Wijnaldum and others, Keita in the last week had just disgusting, like monkey emojis and comments sent to them, which is it just shouldn't stand. The education needs to start right from a very young age, in my opinion. Will that stop it? I don't know, because you know what sometimes people are like, they know it's wrong, so they say it because they know it's going to offend people. So it's a tough one to deal with. I think when it comes to football,
I think it's
when it comes
it's
to
so
football,
bad at the moment. Go on, Lisa.
No, you go, mate. Go on.
No, go on, mate. Go on. Carry on, go on.
When it comes to football, the punishments are not severe enough. If you see what other punishments are out there for, say, missing a drug test, you can go back to when Rio Ferdinand missed a drug test all those years ago, about 8 months. Betting, like Daniel Sturridge got 4 months banned just for placing a bet. Kieran, was it Trippier, got loads of months ban, I think. Telling his mate to bet him moving to Atletico, and then you get like their Slavia Prague geezer who just gets 10 games. It's just how do you justify like racism being less of an offence than betting, for example, or missing a drug test?
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
It is embarrassing. It should be the most severe punishment going, in my opinion. I couldn't think. I'm not in a position to say what the ban should be, but I think it should be the most severe out there in football.
Do you not think, boys?
Wait, he shouldn't play football again. He shouldn't play football again. In my opinion, he should not be playing football again. If he's like they say, about him putting his hand over his mouth. If he's put his hand over his mouth, he's obviously saying something that he doesn't want people to hear or see.
Yeah.
The geezer's a knobhead. Actually, no, he's more than a knobhead.
You do it in the real world, you lose your job. At the end of the day, you do it in the real world, you lose your job. Why can't the same rule apply for that for football?
And as bad as it sounds, right, it's become kind of like a fashion thing to be racist, and it's horrendous, mate. You know, like when you saw Son the other day when he obviously fell over when he got hit in the face and fell over. My first reaction was he's going to get absolute dog's abuse on Twitter, Instagram, just for that. It's ridiculous, mate. And like you said, Genie Wijnaldum, exactly. And it's the first thing you think about. It's like it's fashionable for these fucking idiots to go online and do all these emojis and write all these things because they're anonymous, right? Obviously, I've just created a page. I've created a page for the 11 by Sideline Talk, right? It took me about 5 minutes to make that page. I didn't have to put any contact details in. I didn't have to put anything in about my personal thing. It just came up. I can delete that and I can make another one as quick as that. And that's what these prips are doing. They're writing these comments, and then they're deleting the account and never to be found again. And then they'll just make another one, and unless Instagram, Facebook, Twitter clamp down on it, and you have to verify your account, it's just going to carry on going.
100%.
And it's a fucking joke, mate. It's an absolute joke. Obviously, I've never received it. I've never received it myself, but I can imagine how horrible it is. And it needs to be cut out of society, not just football. It needs to be cut out of everything.
I think it goes beyond social media as well. And you think of a lot of the, like, say, Eastern European games, when players go, or even Italian football. It's quite bad in Italian football. You see Balotelli kick off about it numerous times. They just get the funky chants out in the stands. So it goes beyond social media. I mean, how do you solve that crisis? Yeah. Do you just not let fans in to games? I don't know.
Think
I don't know what the cause is. Which couple of guys?
I think it needs
to. We ain't really got the answer. It's not acceptable.
No, I think that's a passionate response from both of you. I want Dan to quickly touch on it. Then I'm going to throw an alternative at you boys. I want to see how you feel about it. Dan, quickly touch on that for me, mate.
I mean, I think it's a hard thing to quickly touch on, but I completely echo what everyone said, especially with Scott on the platforms. I think in terms of the platforms, a lot more needs to be done. For me, it is too easy to just make an account. Like Scott said, you could just make an account, 2 minutes, job done. Like we've made multiple accounts on platforms for our channel, and it's like, how easy was that? They don't know who the fuck's behind these accounts. I could just give my username, my password to someone, job done, and they could just go start howling abuse at someone. I do think it needs to be stopped. I'm not saying the problem is the problem doesn't lie there, no way whatsoever. Like Lee said, it does go beyond that, but I think we do need to start setting a stone in place where at least we can improve it where we can, and then maybe it might get better overall, because on the platforms, if it ain't going to be good.
What do you think about all these football players and clubs that are starting to come off social media as a result? Do you agree with that?
Me and Sam spoke on this weeks ago.
Let me quickly go on this, and then I'll ask you boys your opinion on that. Let's be completely honest. For example, Thierry Henry coming off his social media account is not going to change absolutely anything, in my opinion, simply because, let's be real, do you think he runs that account?
No.
Yeah, of course he does. Perfect
example was Phil Foden last night. He's having arguments today with his social media manager because someone else runs his account, and he sent him a tweet to Kylian Mbappe.
I think Henry does run into his account. I'm pretty confident he someone at that level. They wouldn't need
Dan, I love you, mate. There's no way he runs his fucking social media account.
No, but I just don't. He hasn't got much more to do. He don't play football. I think he. It's like Ian Wright. Ian Wright will probably run his account because he's not got much more to do. He just works. I'm not saying he don't work hard, but he's some of what he does is just entertaining people on social media on Instagram. Roy Keane's only just got an Instagram account. I think that is something that they do. But in terms of what they actually are going to achieve out of it, I know we touched on this weeks ago when we were talking about the passing of Claude, obviously. I mean, I'm not saying it's, but apparently it wasn't what we thought it was. So it's better. It's not a blessing. It's a bit of a bittersweet because it's nice. It's the sort of position where you don't want people to take their life, but at the end of the day, it's the fact that we're actually considering that might be a thing where they've taken their life because of online abuse, whether it's racism, whether it's just general abuse to anyone. I mean, I've had racism against me. I know how it feels like, but to be in that limelight and feel it, like Lee was touching on in Wijnaldum, I just find it horrendous. You have one bad game of football, and the fact that you can get that all against you, I think it's just despicable. The fact that it can even be got away with, despicable.
Of course it can. Yeah, it's not right.
I don't think what people are doing is going to change much because those sort of vile human beings, they're always going to be in this bloody world. Let's be honest. I don't think someone leaving their account or removing their account is going to change them. I think we all know that they're always going to be there. If we can reduce them, that's brilliant. But I'm just being realistic here. I don't think we're going to lose people tomorrow if 100 million people remove their Instagram accounts or Facebook accounts. It's just the way life is. It's just unfortunately reality.
I agree with you. I think the world's evolving though now. I think it's more.
It's definitely highlighted more.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, Lee. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's now. I think it's now about educating the future, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
what
it is. It's educating the future.
Have you seen what Jordan Henderson's done with his social media now? He's handed it all over to this company, which is just basically highlighting racist abuse and things like that, and giving examples and trying to educate people. So he's handed all of his socials over to this company just so they can post about that and highlight that, which I think is quite a good thing to do. So it sort of helps a little bit, I suppose.
Go on, Scotty.
Sammy, going back to the Slavia Prague and the Rangers incident, this just shows how much UEFA are an absolute fucking joke. Glenn Kamara got a 3-game ban for being racially abused. What the fuck? How is he get? Do you know what I mean? Someone's being racist towards him, and he's saying, "Well, if you're not going to do anything about it, I'm fucking going to do something about it." And he's got a 3-game ban. It's a joke.
Yeah, so
how are you supposed to not react? Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. So I read the like a little bit of the transcript for the guy that actually just been found guilty of it, and the reason why they've done Kamara is because he approached him at the end of the game in the tunnel, and that's what apparently started the incident off again. No, I agree with you. But that's why they've charged him. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. Personally, I've had my own opinion, and I think that's wrong. He shouldn't be charged with anything. But that's it. That just shows me personally. I'm disappointed because let's be honest. UEFA had an opportunity there, didn't they? Let's be honest, and they've completely.
They should set an example, and they fucked it.
Yeah,
they fucked it again and again and again.
They fucked it. They did.
I'm gonna put an alternative spin on that, boys, and I'm gonna see your opinion on that, and then we'll quickly move on. So it's funny as well because even though he's been found guilty of that, he still denied it. So the other alternative is ban the club from European competitions next season.
No.
That will hurt them financially, which in turn will then force them to make sure their players stay in line with the protocol.
That's never going to be an
option.
option.
Is that a way to do it or not?
No. The way I see it,
I don't think you can blame the club for the players' actions.
Yeah, I've always said this. I've always said that I think a club is not responsible for it's responsible for their players to an extent. I don't think it's responsible to that sort of level. I think people have their own personality. In terms of racism, I think majority of their team probably know what it's about. They know the ways you should act and the things you should say, the things you shouldn't say. In that incident, I mean, I've tried not to touch on it as much because it's just annoying. And obviously we're playing them tonight. At the moment we're dicking them, so I'm quite happy. Bit calmer, but it's not the club's fault. It's not the club's fault at all. You could hire anyone. You don't know what's going on in that back mind. Someone could just go and play for you. You think they're a quality top player. I'm not even being funny, but you don't know what. Look at Suarez. He's not racist, but he's got that sort of things where he's had that personality and background about him, reputation. No one saw that, but yet he was one of the best players in the Premier League.
He had that racist incident with Everett, didn't he? And I cringed so much at the club for that.
I didn't really want to
back him. It's so cringeworthy. They wore fucking Suarez t-shirts, didn't they? In the warm up. Oh.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
I didn't want to bring that up, but that is that's exactly what I was trying to. You don't know what that's about, and he was one of the best strikers in the Premier League by hands down. Him and Sturridge when they had their prime was unbelievable. But
again, he was also to do with education a little bit because he's from Uruguay, South America, and he called him I can't remember exactly. It might have been Negro or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He thought that was acceptable in his culture. So it just goes back to how people need to be educated from a young age about what's right and what's wrong.
It's been seen this year, boys. It's been seen this year with Cavani, with the tweet and everything like that.
Yeah. Cavani, yeah.
What did he get? 3 games? He got 3 games for that, didn't he?
It's the same sort of thing. But I don't think these players, like I said, you've hit the nail on the head. I don't think they get educated enough come into the country that they're going to be playing for. And again, is that their fault? Maybe. Is it the club's fault? I don't know. It's a hard one. It is a hard one. I think from a human rights point of view, you know, we all know right and wrong. Maybe we're just saying that because we're not in that world, are we?
The clubs must educate them because the clubs give them stuff like media training and things like that. So they must give them some.
Because at the end of Lee, like I said, you're right. But at the end of the day, they are still representing that club. You don't want someone like that, no disrespect, representing your club and then bringing, like you say, that cringe factor. That fucking hell, that's borderline racist behaviour. Like it's not on. But again, I don't know, boys. I think it's a touchy subject. Like, hopefully we've done it justice, but I just don't know going forward what the right term is. I think you've all got the same simple view of me.
To end it off, Sammy, it's just simple. There's no racism in football or society. End of. There shouldn't be. Yeah. We're all human. We're all as one. Whether that's your skin color, whether that's the size of your body, you know, we are all as one, and that's as simple as that. You know. So whoever's racist, fuck them.
Kick it out.
No, I love that, and that's the first time I've seen like a lot of you like fucking animated about that, and it's actually good to see that, you know, that we're all similar to that. And then like it's obviously horrible for us to hear that you've actually gone through something like that in your life, and I can only apologise on behalf
but
of
most people have. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't know many people like either whether they be mixed race or whether it be black. I don't know many people have that. My mum has, my brothers have. It's just a thing in life, you know. It's just what goes on.
But that doesn't mean it's acceptable. It shouldn't be a part of your life.
It's just a shame you have to live with that. Every person has to live with it. It shouldn't. It's not right.
Yeah, but I can't see anything changing it. To put it bluntly, I can't see anything changing it until like people just get put away.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is that unfortunately, as wrong as it sounds, like you should be doing time in it for a comment like that to people, and they just don't take it seriously enough.
But instead, you just get a 10 match ban. Cheers.
Yeah, but unfortunately, no, right. We'll quickly touch on it. Like you've all said, that's the problem. That's that player's view, isn't it? So like, unless he's educated, wherever he's grown up in his life, that's his view. So that's his family, who he's known, who he's grown up with, who he's played in the streets with. Do you know what I mean? So that's their view. So it's very difficult, isn't it? It's like you open up too many avenues there on where to go with that, didn't you?
I don't think it's about view. I think it's about, and I'm not even being horrible to whatever his name is. I'm not going to try pronounce it, but I don't think it's the stats of. Yeah, okay. We'll go on about the prick. I just generally don't think it is about your views. It's about just common sense. And when you've played football at that sort of level, you know what you can and can't say. He's obviously said something there. He's obviously guilty because they've given him he's either admitted to something or they've had some sort of evidence that he's done it, and he's got 10 match ban. For me, I mean, when I was in school, I saw a lot more punishment than 10 match bans, and that's in primary school, secondary school. So the fact that he's only got that, I just find it embarrassing. And
I just don't think football are doing enough to kick it out. They bang on.
Yeah, I'd be so embarrassed.
And they don't do enough.
So embarrassed if I was...
Another alternative, right? Quickly, do you think miking up the ref would help?
No, because there's too many refs out there.
Close enough, like to situations, not always close enough, are they?
Yeah, like it's like Lee said, you can be about 15 meters away and you wouldn't hear a thing. So you can't blame the ref. It's a matter of
especially when crowds get back in. Do you know what I mean?
It's a matter of the fact they've either got enough evidence on him or they haven't. And if they have, they shouldn't be giving him 10 match bans. They should be kicking him out of the game completely, because racism is the one thing which, like, you think people have got away with enough murder. We spoke about Suarez the other day. Like, you saw Cantona years ago when he kicked that fan in the head. I don't mean to be rude, and I mean I'm never going to get in a professional game ever anyway. But I don't blame him. If you're going to get punishments like 10 match bans, I don't blame him for doing stuff like that. I'd do the exact same fucking thing. If I knew that the player or the fan that was racist to me was just going to be in a stadium a couple of weeks later, I'd probably drop kick him myself. Sod it, I'd tell my whole family to go around there.
Do you know what?
Kick him.
Do you know what would be interesting? If the players started taking it into their own hands and then and then see how many games they get banned for. For example, if Glenn Kamara had just grabbed that geezer by the throat and lumped him and put him on the deck and just literally started battering him on the floor, I wonder how many
probably
games
be kicked out of the game. I bet he'd be kicked out of the game.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I mean. The geezer shouldn't be playing football again, and that's I'm not saying any more on it. I don't think he needs any more airtime. That prick.
Yeah.
No, I think
maybe we should move on, boys.
Move on, boys. But like I said, do you know what? It's interesting to hear everyone's point of views there, because it's probably something that we don't even talk about down the pub, is it? Like, we've all got like friends from different backgrounds and stuff like that. Scotty, I think that's the most passionate I've ever heard you, man, and it's absolutely beautiful to see that. That's
unbelievable. I love that.
Yeah, like it's nice to see. But
I'm gonna definitely put a video up of that. By the way, that was some of the next level shit. I was just watching Scott in his corner. I thought that was element. Absolutely.
I think no, but it's not even that. We're all captivated on it because we felt that, man. That was like that was
it's sad. It's sad.
I'm just passionate, mate, about the fact that we've all just got to be as one, mate.
It's sad that it takes this. It's sad that it takes this to get us this passionate about. But this is the things that are being spoke about at the moment. It's shit like this, racism, abuse. It's just. But yeah, Sam. Yeah, I'll let us move on because I think we're just getting a bit.
Yeah, we'll move on. We'll move on because so we'll touch on the Champions League quarterfinals. I was going to touch on the Europa, but we're going to cut it off after the Champions League, just simply because the games are still going on, boys. We've been on there long enough. I've had a beer. I want to go to bed. Right. So we'll touch on quickly. The Chelsea lost 1-0 to Porto, but they still went through 2-1 in aggregate. I don't know if you boys managed to see the game. Have you got any thoughts about it yourself? Surprise?
Unbelievable goal.
Game.
You see the goal?
I see the goal. That's everything I see. What a goal!
What a goal!
The goal didn't start.
Yeah, we could do that.
What was his name? Is it Torelli?
Marega or something?
Maybe I got it completely wrong.
Don't ask me.
Nah.
Don't.
You definitely haven't got it wrong, Lee. Dan's definitely got it wrong.
I don't know. I might have got it wrong. I think I was watching the Bayern PSG game at the time, so I was just seeing BBC updates of the Chelsea one, and they kept talking about this guy who scored the overhead, about how they need to bring him on because he runs in behind and all that. And then he comes on and scores the overhead. It's like, if he's going to come on, if he's that much of a threat, why is he not starting?
Exactly.
Chelsea got it over the line, didn't they? So they're not the most difficult of ties. I think.
Yeah, I think
Chelsea's
they done the work, didn't they?
Their Champions League run it reminds me of bloody England's run to the semi in the World Cup. Yeah. They're not really getting any difficult ties. They're just doing the job. And now they're going to come up against a difficult team in Real Madrid, and we're really going to see what they're made of.
Do you boys think, quickly, we'll touch on that, do you see them beating Real Madrid or not?
Yeah.
Scotty? You do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
What? Simply because of how... why? Go on.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, if Real Madrid have got their two centre-backs back, then maybe not. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just something about Tuchel. I don't know. I mean, Chelsea have got the players. Chelsea have got the players. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
they've got an unbelievable squad that could probably beat any of them on their day. So yeah, why not? I mean, Real Madrid in the first. I know we'll touch on it, but Real Madrid in the first leg against Liverpool, I think it was more Liverpool played badly than Real Madrid played well.
Liverpool could have won.
In this leg, Liverpool were fucking all over them. They're pulling the pants down. They just couldn't put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think they're there to be had, Real Madrid.
I think it's going to be Real Madrid, personally. I think Zidane is such an... We talked about underrated players earlier. I talked about underrated manager. The geezer just knows how to win trophies. They're experienced at that level. They're always coming to form in the second half of the season, Real Madrid. They're firing at the moment. They're a point off the top of La Liga. I think they're favourites to win it now. They'll have people like Hazard coming back from injury for probably their two centre-backs. Even though their backup centre-backs have been superb in the last two legs. Nacho is unbelievable. I just think Modric and Kroos. I think they've got more quality than Chelsea. I think, I just think they're a better footballing side, and I think Chelsea, the fact that they still lack a quality striker, could go against their
bite them in the
favour.
arse, yeah. Dan, do you disagree?
Pick Real Madrid for that one.
Hmm?
Do you disagree with any of that?
Tough one for me. I mean, I was expecting Liverpool to go through, I'll be honest with you. So it's all...
I think we all were, man. Fuck's sake, they let us down.
Yeah, I think it's all a bit, you know... It has opened... I'm not going to say opened a can of worms, but it's a bit surprising that Chelsea got the better draw, so you expected them to win. I think in the second leg, they obviously just sort of knew that they had that comfortable 2-goal away. You know, you got the away goals. So losing 1-0 to Porto, I don't think that should put them in any bit of a worse situation. They're still going to go on. They've got to, personally, I always said if Chelsea got Liverpool in the next round, I think Liverpool would have gone through. But now they've gone through to get Real Madrid, I think Chelsea will steal it. I have to agree on that. I think Tuchel has just got that bit about him. He knows how to park the bus. He knows how to win games where he needs to. And let's be honest, Chelsea have got more versatile and more flexibility in that team than anyone. I know we spoke on this weeks ago with Ben when we were talking about how Liverpool, Chelsea have got one of the best teams in the league by far. They've got so many midfielders, so many attack. I don't know. It's tricky. It depends on whether Real Madrid have got the injuries against them, the centre halves. Because if they've got their centre halves back, I think maybe it puts a different situation in perspective. But you look at Chelsea's attack on who they got. They got no injuries. It's the world's the worst at the moment. It is looking like they really have it in their hands to just take it and get top 4 and win the Champions League. To me, I want PSG to win because I think PSG have been absolutely unreal, and I know we're going to probably touch on that in a minute. But
yeah, we are.
Chelsea, I think Chelsea and Real Madrid, Chelsea will squeeze it personally. I think it won't be easy, but I think they'll just squeeze it.
I think that in as well, because how bad they they weren't doing bad when they're in the Premier League, but when obviously with Lampard getting sacked and everything like that.
They've got a great squad though. They should be winning. They should be winning everything. I'm not being funny. They've got so many players. You look at their midfield. They've got more midfielders in one squad than what two teams have in 2. It's ridiculous. I don't understand
how
their
squad is better than Real Madrid though.
No, I mean in terms of Premier League, I think they've got one of the best versatile.
I don't think it's that far apart, Lee. Though, in all honesty, this is probably a really weak Real Madrid team. Bar Benzema killing it as usual.
I don't think there's barely one Chelsea player I'd put in the Real Madrid side ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Bloody it, that's a
Kante?
shout.
What do you reckon?
You wouldn't put Kante in there now?
I'd put Mount in there. I'd put Mount in there.
Unbelievable at the moment.
I'd put Mount in there. I honestly would put Mount in there.
You see how good Casemiro was last night? It was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, but you boys were shit. Let's be honest. If you could have put a shot on target, you would have killed him. You would have killed him. Absolutely killed him.
Leg as well.
Wait, we'll move on. We'll move on because otherwise, we're going to be all night, and we'll talk. Because we've got the Liverpool and Real Madrid to touch on after. So we'll go on to the PSG. So obviously it's PSG 0, Bayern 1, Paris Saint-Germain 1. They go through to the next round on away goals, 3-3 on aggregate. Don't know if you boys saw it. Fucking honestly, my analysis quickly. Fuck me, Neymar and Mbappe. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Do you see how
it's crazy. Yeah,
Can you
I mean
imagine
with Neymar, when he's on his A game, he is fucking unbelievable.
He's so good,
but I just don't like his where he rolls around and fucking. I don't like all that shit. When
he's not a very
likeable
bloke, is he?
Nah, do you remember when Joey Barton tweeted him saying something about?
He's a YouTube footballer.
Yeah.
But to be fair, he should have scored 2 goals in that game. He did miss. He hit the bar and post. But he did play great. He got his vindication for losing the final last year. But overall, that game was fantastic. The intensity of it, the pace of it. What a game of football that was. I think Bayern massively missed Lewandowski.
Oh,
yeah, they did massively, mate.
I think if he was playing, I think Bayern might have actually,
Different gravy.
Yeah, and we all
isn't he?
know that. We all know that Choupo-Moting's got the best agent in the game. How the fuck?
He scored though.
How's he gone from Stoke to PSG to Bayern Munich?
Mental, ain't
I don't
it?
know.
Mental.
Yeah.
Fucking
I
unreal.
know. I
He
agree
wasn't
with you,
even
but he's
good at
actually
Stoke.
scored. He scored some important goals, though, isn't he?
I know, it's mental. It's crazy.
Yeah, but so is Divock Origi, and he's shit.
Yeah, to be fair. I don't rate Origi, but that's another one. Right, so we'll move on then. So obviously Borussia Dortmund 1, Man City 2, see through to the next round on 4-2 aggregate. That was a fucking tasty one, man. If you can replay that, if you want two teams to play each other, it's probably them two, isn't it?
I think the game is just all about two youngsters, really. Stop headlines, isn't it? You got Jude Bellingham,
Well, three.
Phil
what
Hoden.
talent he looks, and Phil Foden. Yeah.
Missed one. Go on, Scotty. Who they missed? Can you hear me?
What'd you say? What did you say, sorry?
I said they missed one, Scotty. Who else did they miss?
Haaland.
That's it.
I do much, is it?
His movement, bruv, is unreal. Like, you can see it, though, man. There's a player there.
Yeah,
and I think,
yeah, he's a baller.
I think we just.
Go on,
I think we just touched. Sorry, Sam. I think we just
No,
touched
go.
on Bayern, and I was just thinking we're talking about Lewandowski, and like he's old, and I'm thinking a lot of people are thinking, oh, Haaland might move to the Premier League and go to City. Dortmund need Bayern need a striker. Realistically, when you look at it,
They have got a young striker though. Geezer,
is he good enough to step up? I know who you're on about, but is he good enough?
Not yet, but he might be in like 2 years.
I think if anything, that would make sense. Do the same as Lewandowski, because Lewandowski started at Dortmund, didn't he? And then he followed. I don't know. I'm not trying to like, stir the pot, but I'm just saying maybe that could be where he ends up. Because if no one in Premier League can afford him, which at the moment I don't think many can,
Man City.
It might just.
He'll be at Man City. If he goes anywhere, I think it'll be Man City.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Bayern did buy him, because it is their habit of doing that. They buy the top talents from Germany, didn't they? But I just think Lewandowski
for that sort of money, though.
for at least Lewandowski is still going to be around for at least the next 2 years, and he's probably been possibly one of the best players in the world in the last year or two. He seems to be getting better. He ages like a fine wine.
Yeah, in terms of last night, I think they did miss Allen, but City were good. Like they went behind and they turned it around. Phil Foden was class again. I'll preach for the choir here. I think Southgate has really got it hard in the next team. I don't know what he's going to do. For me, it's probably the hardest. It's definitely the hard. It won't get any harder than this summer to pick an England squad. There's no one, and you've still got, like we were touching on, Harvey Barnes earlier, and your Jordan Henderson, your Declan Rice players are coming back from injury or are injured. So realistically, it could be a lot harder. But I don't know what the fuck he's going to do. I really don't.
We know one player that's not going to go, and that's James Maddison.
Yeah.
I think he's blew it now, isn't he?
Yeah. It's such a shame as well, because he's an absolute baller.
Yeah, that's the thing. Realistically, if everyone was fit, you imagine how hard this would be this summer.
I think Bellingham will get in ahead of him, definitely.
Yeah.
He's already been in the last 2 squads, and he's just proven his class on the biggest stage, pretty much. So
he just doesn't seem to get a look in, though, does he, on that sort of like the higher level, doesn't he? Like no one puts respect on his name, and it's
Maddison.
Yeah, I don't know why, but anyway, we'll move on. So that was Lee. I'm coming to you now because this is Heartbreak Hotel. Liverpool 0, Real Madrid 0. Madrid through, obviously, on a 3-1 aggregate. Sum it up quickly for me, mate.
Not too down about it, to be honest, because I actually thought it's one of the best games we've played in a very long time.
Without scoring.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Our general play was phenomenal. Our intensity was there. We made countless chances. I don't know how Salah missed that chance of 2 minutes in. If that goes in, I think we're going through.
I don't know.
Some of the performances Trent again. My boy Trent was phenomenal. I don't know if you boys saw that outside of the foot pass he done.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I love the swaz, man. I love that. I love that.
It was beautiful, and he actually kept Vinicius quiet all night as well. No one ever talks about his defending, but he's defensively sound all night.
That's why he goes Euros
as well as being a threat going forward. James Milner, 35 years old, phenomenal midfield.
I like that. I don't know if you saw it. You know that quickly. Let me quickly touch on that. You know that Milner tackle.
Yeah, early on when he
fucking
his ankle. Yeah, set the tone, didn't it? Let him know you're there. Yeah, he was great all night. I think it really showed when he came off on the hour mark how much we dropped off. But yeah, just couldn't put it in the net. It's as simple as that. And if you don't score, it seems like with Liverpool this year, it used to take us 2 chances to score 1 goal, and now it's taken about, I don't know, we're getting into double figures now. It's just that's where we're going wrong, and it's just one of those games. Played it well enough to win it. Just couldn't take the chances. Just unfortunate.
You should have won. Like realistically, first leg you were a bit shy, but yesterday,
first leg fucked us. If we played like we did in the first leg yesterday, it'd be a different story.
Shame. Shame. I mean, as an Arsenal fan, obviously I'm not rooting for you till the cows come home, but it would have been good just to see you sort of make it a bit interesting. Whereas now, I feel like the inevitable is going to happen. I just feel like I know what's going to sort of come. I mean, I kind of think Chelsea will win, but realistically on paper, you're expecting PSG to just walk all the way, and deservedly as well.
I don't know. I think PSG Man City is going to be a very, very interesting time.
It's going to be a great game, man.
Yeah.
But
looking forward to seeing a pace race between Walker and Mbappe.
That'll be unbelievable. That'll get Trent in the team. No problemo.
So what we'll do is we're going to touch on the Europa League quarters in the roundup. It's been absolutely pleasure, boys, to actually engage on some topics that we probably haven't for a while. Scotty, are you? We've got Sideline coming back up, haven't we? Soon.
Yeah, hopefully within the next week or so, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got that back. We've got that back probably next week or the week after. We've got the Sunday roundup with all of us 4 boys, hopefully on Sunday. We've got the giveaway going on. Do you want to touch on that quickly?
So we got the Instagram giveaway. I think we were like 21 from it. I don't know what the hell we are now. I don't know. I think I've probably got an annoying face, to be fair, but I think we're about 20. I think we're about 22 away now. But yeah, we keep going. We've got the Sideline Talk feature with the Arsenal. We're just about to win 3-0, hopefully, touch wood. So yeah, keep it up. But yeah, we got Sideline Talk and 11 coming back. So if you want to get involved and say you're 11, give Scotty Boy a message. I know Watford are playing Luton this weekend, so Scotty's going to be a bit happy about that. To be honest, I fucking hope you stick it into them. I've never wanted Watford to win so much in my life.
Watford.
But yeah,
I was just about to say we haven't spoke about the biggest game in the weekend, mate.
I completely apologise. Actually, I got sidetracked with everything that was going on. Give us a little, give your big weekend ahead with it all.
Well, it's simple, mate. We're gonna fucking do it.
What's your routine for the big games, Scotty? How do you get prepared for these big games?
Well, to be fair, Luton have been nowhere near us, mate. So we haven't ever had this. Well, I haven't ever had this really, but I don't know, mate. I don't know if they beat us, mate. I'm just not. 11 is not coming back. I'm not coming on this podcast for at least a month. And no, none of you boys will hear from me.
I'll tell you what. We'll if Scott doesn't come back, we'll get a Luton fan on, and then we'll just rip it. We'll just rip it in.
I'll be waiting for it.
We'll just rip it into the Luton fan because I'm a Stevenage fan. I always will be. So and we've beaten most of the times we've played them. To be honest, I still can't believe they're in the fucking Championship. Like, what a shithole. But yeah, I better stop my words slowly, otherwise I'll get absolutely tear off tomorrow.
Find you, man. Fucking hell, we don't need no fucking Steve. We don't need any Luton fucking man down coming after us.
Now, to be fair, obviously, we beat them back at our place earlier on in the season. I think we'll have too much for them this time. I mean, our team at the moment is just absolutely flying.
I was going to say.
Obviously, we've got our new manager in Cisco, and he's just turned the club around, mate. We're playing attacking football. We've got Ismail Assar on the right, who is just, mate. He has got pace to burn. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You got João Pedro up top. You've got Sema at the left. You've got Zinchenko. You've got Shalaba.
He's quick. He's quick.
Mate,
that Sema looks unreal.
Yeah, I could go through the whole team, and we're just unbelievable.
Shalaba's playing well as well, isn't he?
Is that Shalaba? He's been given a captain armband because obviously Troy Deeney's out injured, and he's been unbelievable. So I'm gonna say we are gonna beat Luton 4-0.
4-0.
What a
Big
prediction!
shout. Fair
Fuck
What a
me,
prediction.
Squid. I can't wait to see you on Sunday.
Man,
No,
it is
do you know
confident.
what? Do you know what? The last time I had this reaction with you boys, and I think I said it was like going to be 4-1 or something in one of the first pods, and it came true. It's 4-1 or 5-1. So it's going to be 4-0, and then we're all going to have a good weekend.
Right.
I hope so, mate. I hope so.
I'll drink to that,
I mean,
boys.
Yeah,
Go on, Dan, quickly touch on.
We'll drink on it. Obviously, it's the FA Cup weekend, so there's not so many games, but we're still going to get involved. We'll be back Sunday. And honestly, how good is it to have the fucking pubs back? Like, let's be realistic. I think we're all bloody excited. Yeah, the emotion is just unreal. But yeah, it's good to have all the boys back, all four of us. To be fair, this is the first time we've been all four of us, I think, in a pod, like realistically.
It is, yeah.
So yeah.
The conversations
We
are
move.
wonderful.
Yeah, no, we get too into it. But yeah, we'll be back Sunday. Hope you all have a good weekend. Up the beers, up the football, up the boys.
Quick comment before we go, then.
Go on.
Just say it's obviously 32 years today since the Hillsborough disaster.
Yeah,
96 children, men and women, attended a football match and never came home. So I just want to say you've gone, but never forgotten. You never walk alone.
Yep. Yeah.
Nice one, Lee.
Nice one, Lee. Love that.
So, boys, right, it's an absolute pleasure. We've got through me hosting something, so I've been the best looking host in this podcast. I love it. Soon. Okay.
Cheers, boys.
See you later.
I get those goosebumps every time.